Dave at USA Performance Parts. We're here to talk about parts for engines with blowers, turbochargers, big nitrous, big amounts of boost in them. You can't use standard crankshafts, standard rods, standard pistons when you start putting boost in them or a lot of nitrous. When I say a lot of nitrous, anything over 300 horse of nitrous, it starts killing parts. The same with the boost, it doesn't matter what. 8 or 10 pounds is enough. We've got crankshafts here that'll handle 35 pounds of boost and well over 2,500 horsepower. We start out with a nitrous setup. This is for a 632. This is the Lunati signature crankshaft, 4750 stroke. These are forged in America, heat treated in America, and machined by Lunati. These things will handle 2,500 plus horsepower easily. They come with the lightning rod throws. They also have the gun drilled mains in them. These have all the wing cuts for the oil windage. These also come with the dual keyways. They have the keyway on this side, and they also have one on the back side if a guy decided he wanted to put some type of a blower or run a pump off it or anything like that. Pro Charger. These have a oversized bolt that goes all the way down into the main part of the crankshaft, so you don't have the crankshaft weakened up here where it's trying to break it off. Like I said, these are great for the nitrous engines. We've got guys out there well over 2,000 horsepower spraying a lot in them, spraying 800 plus horsepower in it. Now, for the guys that in the blown stuff, this is a similar crankshaft. This one happens to be a 4250 stroke, is what most of the guys run in the 540s. On the blown alcohol stuff, you don't want the big engines all the time. Again, these have gun drilled mains, the lighting rod journals. This also has the extra keyway like the other one did. But if you notice, this one has a much larger bolt for the snout, and that's for the blown hub. You just need that. Again, it goes all the way down into the meat of the crankshaft, though. These will handle big horsepower in the blown stuff. All American. Don't have to worry about it. It's great American steel. Now, the guys with the small blocks. This is probably the most popular stroke for the blown guys. Blown alcohol, blown gasoline. Again, these are all Lunati signatures. This is a 3750 stroke for the 400 cubic inch stuff. It has a big block snout in it instead of the small block, so it's got a lot of strength up here for the blower hub. This also has the extra keyway on it for the blower. We also have ATI balancers to go on that you can bolt your blower, the blower pulley to, and be able to use a real balancer instead of just having the hub on there. Especially good for guys that are running any kind of street stuff at all, but it's good for a lot of them. The ATI has a good steel hub on it that fits it real well. These all the blower cranks have increased radius in the end of cheek of the crankshaft, which helps keep them from cracking so easily. These have the wing cuts on them also. Now we're down into this is an LS version. This one happens to be a stock stroke, which is what the turbo guys are really interested in. Again, all American made, gun drilled, not a super heavy weight, but a very, very strong crankshaft. These have the windage already cut in them. Again, the LS guys, this will handle almost 2,500 horsepower in a turbo application. So it really, really makes strong power. You just can't use a standard plain old forged crank in it, and And also, you got to stay away from some of there's some of the crankshafts out there that are not made in America that aren't very strong. So this is all American made. To go along with that, you have to have a good strong rod. We have our XD Extreme Duty rod. This has a thicker cross section on the beam. Also, the H fins are thicker in it. These have a proprietary ARP 2000 bolt in it that has a different grip length inside of it to keep it from from failure of breaking. It is a 7/16 bolt. We have these in a number of different lengths. Like on the big block of Popular 4750 632, they use a 6/700 length rod. We use a 6/635 rod or a 6/660. What it does, it makes the piston much stronger. As you shorten it up, it gives the piston much more room for the ring lands and makes the ring lands a lot thicker. We'll go over the piston in just a minute. We have a number of different rods. This is the new CP-Carrillo bullet rods. This is an I-beam rod. In this version, they will handle around 1,500 horsepower pretty easily. They have their famous WMC bolt. That's a great rod bolt, better than most anything out there. For the guys that are looking for the power adder and big boost and things like that, we have some Carrillo I-beam rods coming for our XD Extreme Duty rods. That's going to have a thicker beam and will handle upwards of 2,000 horsepower. I have a limited amount coming in the first order, so if you're interested in anything like that, give me a call right away and put your name on a set. This is our small block XD rod, or small block Chevy. Again, it has a thicker cross section across the beam and the thicker fins in here. And this is a rod in a small block Chevy that we've got guys with 1,800 horsepower and 30 pounds of boost in it, and are still running them. They're fine. This is the CP-Carrillo bullet rod. This happens to be their turbo version of it. It's thicker in the cross section. You notice here they filled in the beam and made it a lot stronger. This in an LS motor will handle 30 pounds of boost, so it covers almost everything you're gonna run into. Get into the boosted pistons. This is actually on the boosted piston. This is a big block boosted piston. It's a flat top. You notice it's got a pretty thick ringland here and a good thick ringland on the second ringland, which is very, very important. The second ringland handles all of the force from the top ring. A lot of guys don't understand that. They move the top ring way down and leave this real thin. And what happens is the second land breaks in. So you have to have a compromise in there. These have good, we always beef up the skirts in it. We thicken the crown, the thickness in here to cover that. And we also use a heavy-duty pin in any of the turbocharged stuff, supercharged nitrous stuff. We use a 9310 pin in most of it with a real thick wall. We also, for the big blocks, we also have a EN39B pin, which is a little bit more money, but is just indestructible. That's what we put in the big, really, really high boost stuff. This happened to be a big block piston, but the small block piston looks similar to that. Some of them we go with a dish to get the compression down even more. Now with the nitrous stuff, they want a little more compression, so we have a dome for that. This is our XD piston for a 434 big nitrous engine. This has a very thick crown in it, good thick skirts. It's still not a real heavy piston, but it's very, very strong. We have moved the ringland down. They have lateral gas ports in it. It has a good thick second ring with an anti-detonation groove. And on the small blocks, and even a lot of the big blocks now, we've gone to a 3 millimeter ring in these things. The 3 millimeter oil ring compared to a 3/16, they tend to really seal up great. I've had a lot of guys that had problems with their rings, and we changed piston to put a 3 millimeter oil ring, and on 25 pounds of boost, it just went away. They had no more blow by at all. This happened to be a big block piston, similar to the small block. It got a good thick crown, good thick skirts in it. Again, we put a great thick wall pin in it. This one has a 3 millimeter ring in it also. Even with a 4/600 bore and a big block, we use that 3 millimeter oil ring. This is the standard 3/16 spacer, and then the 3 millimeter spacer. So you can see that it's quite a bit thinner. It does a couple things. It really helps seal the oil ring, but it also gives you a lot more room in the piston to give it thicker ringlands yet. This happens to be an 043 3 millimeter. We use the same combination on the boosted and nitrous big blocks also. It gives you that much more material to put in the ringland where it really needs it on those boosted applications. Use the standard, usually a Napier second ring and a nitrated steel top ring. This will handle about anything you're going to throw at it. We also, for some of the guys, we have the Total Seal TNT ring also, which is a hardened ductile iron. Some of the nitrous guys like that, so we can handle that end of it. Like I say, the biggest thing is you got to remember when you're doing boosted and nitrous stuff, you can't use stock crankshafts, you can't use standard rods or piston. It's just not going to work. You're going to do nothing but work on it. And if you spend the money up front, the stuff's going to live, and you're going to go out and have fun. You're going to go fast, and you're not going to have problems with it. All this stuff we keep in stock for the boosted and the nitrous engines. Give me a call, 704-397-7979, or check us out on the web at usaperform.com.